What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, or wherever you are, and whatever time it is. Welcome back to yet another video with you, man, Immersiaholic. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 5th online battle for the Divided Impera Overhaul mod for Total War Rome 2. Today we are playing as Sparta. As you can see here, this is our Spartan general. We're actually already into the battle right now. I have it paused though, just so I can give you guys a brief little introduction. And today we have Sparta, which is played by me, your man Immersiaholic, versus the Nervii, played by my very good friend Toxborg, who I'll be linking his channel down below in the description as always, so please go check him out. Before we do get started with this online battle though, I do just want to say very quickly that after having a small little mini poll on the official Immersiaholic Discord and getting some feedback, I'm now going to be letting you guys know that I'm more than happy, and in fact I encourage you to send in your battle replays, so you can send them in to me so we can share them with the community, and I can post videos of them, give a little bit of commentary, give my thoughts on the battle. I'm not very good at online battles, especially competitive ones, but I still feel like I know the units of DEI pretty good, so I feel like I could talk about the strategies and the units being used and give some feedback on that if you like. But in case you don't know how to actually send in a battle replay, I will post a small image on the screen right now where it will be basically a address in your files that you can go into and get it. But all you have to do is go into your user file of your Windows account, into the app data folder, that is the App.data folder, roaming, the creative assembly folder, Rome 2, and then into replays. And then all you have to do is copy that replay, paste it to your email account, go ahead and email it to me directly at immersiaholic@gmail.com. That's right, immersiaholic@gmail.com. That's it. No capitals, no numbers, no nothing. It's just my YouTube email account. Send it right there. If you can, give me a brief description of the battle. Maybe you could give me just some general thoughts on what you would like me to focus on in the battle. Maybe, you know, there's a particular move that happens that you would love to see covered. That is all I ask. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions about that, feel free to post them down below. But now we are going to get into this online battle here with Sparta taking on the Nervii. Alright, so let's get into the battle. Now, I was going to show you guys all of my units and the unit cards, but this is an online battle, so I'm not actually controlling this army technically, so I can't see them. But what we can do very quickly is go over my army very quickly, and then we'll start getting into it. I don't like to cover the enemy army because I never have any idea of what I'm facing against once the battle begins, you know, and I don't like to give away all of the details of both armies because I feel like it kind of ruins some of the experience for the viewer, you guys. And it gives you way too much of a benefit of 2020 hindsight. I think it's better for you guys to see what I did and hear why I did it, and then after the battle happens and we know what the enemy used, then we can talk about how terrible I did and the choices I made and all that. But anyway, let's go from our left flank to over to the right. So on the far left we have our Skiritai swords, 2 units right here. Fairly good, very high attack. Armor is quite low, morale is actually okay at 49, but these guys are actually very, very stealthy, and so Toxborg won't see these guys coming until he's super close, probably like about that close right there, maybe a bit more, depending on the units that he has coming. But these guys are excellent at stealth, and behind them we have a single allied peltist unit. Nothing special there, just a solid peltist. Behind them we have some allied Thurio spearmen. These 2 units are not stealthy. Then we have 1 unit of Ionian Lancers. That's the only Lancer unit I had in the entire Spartan army here. This unit is actually really good, and it was recently added in fact, let's start to play and go in slow motion. This unit was actually added in the most recent 1.2.7 patch of DEI. I've never used it before. I've checked it out visually, but I've never actually used it in a battle. So this is going to be a lot of fun to see just how effective this brand new unit is. But anyway, continuing along the line, we then have a single unit of Spartan hoplites here just to give me a little bit of mobility on my flanks. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Spartan pikes to form our main battle line. And then in the center, we actually have our general. I thought I would try and be a little bit more focused on the Spartan way of fighting, which is, obviously spears, hoplites especially, but we also have pikemen here. But I thought I would try and get our general involved in the mix just to make it a little bit more interesting. Usually I would never say keep your general at the front, but for this battle I was thinking, you know what, I know the Spartan general bodyguard is pretty good, let's just send him in and see how he goes. So I'm just trying to be, a little bit more fun with the choice. It's not the most smart decision though, do not recommend it if you're playing serious. Then as we keep going over to the right, we then have another Spartan hoplite here, just a solid, proper Spartan hoplite. And then we have basically the same as the far left side. We have 2 Skiritai swordsmen, 1 allied peltist, then we have 1 Thurios spear unit behind. However, the cavalry is an allied Thurios cavalry unit, which is basically a mid-tier Jav Cav unit. Not amazing. Armor 23, which is okay, but they should be decent. It's just a good mid-tier cavalry unit. However, we have 3 units up here at the back, and we actually have 2 Spartan thorax swordsmen, and then in the rear we have our allied Thurios Cav. And these guys, so the point of my army is of course to basically form a full Spartan, let's try to lower this down. So obviously I'm trying to form a full Spartan pike / hoplite line right here, right? Okay, and then my flanks, this is where things are going to be a lot more mobile, because I have some mobile swordsmen, some skirmishers and spearmen. That's where I'm counting on basically being able to control the flanks. And then basically depending on whatever he does, I'm going to rotate units out of this third party in the rear to the right, over there, or to the left. It's a very reactive style of army. Immediately though, I see that he's sending cavalry forward on the right hand flank over there. And on my front left, he has 2 units of cav. So immediately, he has more cavalry than me, and he has them in a very aggressive stance. So I'm very concerned about that. So I'm going to start stretching out my line over here on the left-hand side and trying to make sure that he doesn't envelop me too easily. And you'll notice that I have a staggered formation. I have my swordsman right here. Then I have my peltist behind them at a slight angle. And then I have my swordsman behind them a little bit further back. So basically, if he charges in to either this unit, or this unit, the unit behind it is going to be able to nail the cavalry with javelins by just chucking them over and around. Or my units back here could even come up and around and flank the cav from behind. But anyway, that's my basic game plan, is to form a very solid battle line and then basically react off whatever he does. So immediately, I'm going to focus on defending my right flank. I see he's being very aggressive with his cavalry right here. He has shock cavalry, 1 light shock cav unit, and then another heavy shock cavalry unit. Let's actually see the names of them. Remy Elite Cav and Belgae Medium Cavalry. That's what's going on with that, so that would be interesting. By the way, I did say I was going to lower the map, but if I lower the map, I can't use the arrows. So that's kind of a sucky thing. I hope you guys don't mind seeing that UI. So we'll have to keep the map up if I'm going to use these, and I think it adds a lot to the battle if we do use the map markers. So I'll keep up the map for this battle. If you guys would really prefer not even seeing these map markers, let me know. This is the map markers I'm talking about, where I get to draw on the map. If you're not interested in that, let me know, and then we'll just hide the map, and you guys will have to just try to follow along. But I think it's fine. I actually really like being able to draw and talk to you guys about it. But anyway, I need to shut up because we need to focus on what actually Toxborg is doing. So he has his cavalry moving forward around my flank over there. I'm basically playing very defensive on my flanks. I'm hoping that he'll be willing to engage me from the front, because as you can see, we have our pikemen here. They're getting into formation right now. However, his main battle line is a very dangerous prospect, because I'm seeing a lot of these skirmisher symbols pop up. Thankfully though, it's just archers. He has 1, 2, and I believe there's a third. Yep. 1, 2, 3 units of archers right there, mixed in with infantry though. Very smart. That means that I can't actually come out and shoot them. Run them down with my cavalry, sorry. While he can stand there and just shoot away. And Any kind of skirmisher though is the bane to pikemen, so I realize this. Now I'm going to start pushing forward as quickly as possible. I actually moved my pikemen out of their pike formation to do so, so this is going to require a lot of micromanagement on my own part. He's threatening me with his cavalry over here on the right, so I'm a little worried about that. But I am trying to use my spearmen again in a defensive formation that they can all back each other up. If he charges in with my swords, my pelters can nail him. If he charges into my pelters, my swordsman can nail him, and then my cav can wheel around and support. So even though it's a little bit ugly, this formation, it is intentional. But now, the battle is about to commence. He's pulled back with his archers in the rear, so I can't get to them for a while now. I need to force an engagement in the center while trying to make sure my flanks over here don't get overwhelmed. He gets a little bit too close here, and my pelters get just a few javelins off, but it's not really going to give us anything in return, so that's a little bit disappointing. In the meantime though, my Skiritai swordsmen over here were charged by the enemy. I didn't get the charge in, I really messed it up. You can see this unit getting an attack order right now. So we will beat this medium spear unit here, but it's going to take a while. And so that's why I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive on my right hand flank. Now on my left, I'm going to try and play a bit more defensively. We're also engaged here on the left hand side. We have both of my Skiritai swordsmen engaged, 3 units of his own. Here comes the cav charges. He's probably going to try and sneak in here and get some rear charges, but that's okay. I have swordsmen back here that I'm going to move up that have javelins, so they're going to try and engage there. Meanwhile, on the right hand flank, he's disengaged completely, except for the 2 Skiritai swordsmen that are tying down enemy infantry. He's given a last minute charge order for this shock cav unit to get into my own. I will give an attack order, but it's too late. I'm going to get charged. My pelters here get nailed by that cavalry, and they're going to get absolutely demolished. But then my Thurio swordsman come in, and then he kind of forgets about that for a minute there, because on the right hand flank I'm also being aggressive, and so he's having to react against that as well. So he's going to get the charge on me here yet again. I mess up my micro. I'm doing really bad on the micro on the cavalry front. That's really rough, because in the center I'm trying to really micromanage my main line to get into melee with him, because these archers are just demolishing my own units. You can see here we've already lost a lot of Spartans to nothing, just a few arrows. So I'm going to have to be really aggressive with my main battle line, which is very awkward to try to micromanage. So now we have one unit of cav over here getting attacked by 2. I have my swordsman coming in right here to try and stop his swordsman from chasing my spears. Meanwhile, my Thurio spears are going to come in and support my cav unit. If they're quick, then we should be able to win that and turn it around. On the right hand flank, same thing's going down. 2 cavalry units over here against 2 of his own. And then we have spears coming in. However, he does have swordsmen coming in, so I need to be careful of that. I need to try and intercept them. I really should have given the order to attack right there, but just a bit of a mistake on my part. Back in the center though, we're finally engaged, although we lost one of our pikeman units due to it getting mass targeted by his archers, so that's a big problem. However, we are now engaging swordsmen in the front with pikes. This is exactly the kind of encounter that we want. In the meantime, our general's bodyguard over here is also engaging. It's engaging his general, so we have a 1v1 versus a general, except it's not a 1v1 because he's managed to sneak in a unit right here. So we're getting hit in the rear by, what unit is that? Elite swordsmen, so that's super scary. But we're going to try and divert some swordsmen, some phalangites over here and try and help out our general. Left end flank with our hoplite and pikeman units going good. We're engaging frontally right there. We're actually turned the cavalry fight around over here on the left hand flank. Our Thurio spears came in and did the trick. Our 1 unit of cav was able to hold off those 2 other cav units that he had, so that's really, really massive for us. Meanwhile, our infantry engagements out here are going okay. This 1 unit we should win with, but these units over here, they're going to lose if they don't get support ASAP. On the right hand flank, things are still kind of similar. We have 2 units of cav right here that are engaging their 1 unit of cav, but we've thankfully managed to get them routed because my Thurio spears managed to get in and be just enough of a help to deal with that. He does have 1 unit of cav here. I wanted to chase it and shatter it, but I couldn't really. I really needed to focus my cav on coming in, getting involved, chasing down these archers, and chasing down any other units of infantry that I can, because now I should have the cavalry advantage. And over here, we get a beautiful charge with our own shock cavalry against his own, our Ionian lancers. Whew, that's a tongue twister. Come in and annihilate his cavalry there. So on the left-hand flank, we're now starting to push very aggressively. My Thurio spearmen are coming up. My cavalry will be coming up shortly. We have some units coming back from routing. This is the Peltus unit that got annihilated earlier. And then meanwhile in the center, we're actually pushing his infantry back. Although I really should have just held right here in the center and waited for my other units nearby to keep moving forward. Because now he's giving attack orders on my phalangites to come in and hit them from the side, which is really terrible. So now he can come in there and annihilate this single unit of phalangites. Now I'm going to come over and support my general's bodyguard, and eventually you'll start to see me fix this issue, but it is going to take me a bit too long, and it's really just a bad call. Look at this unit. Wow, what a waste. Yeah, we're losing so many men on that charge. Almost 20 guys to that single charge. This phalangite is done. It will be gone very shortly. That's a big blunder by my part. Then on the far right hand flank though, we actually have some good news. One of our cav units came back from routing, so that's super helpful. As did his unit though, so we have to still do one more unit of cavalry. In the center right, things are kind of mixed. We have some of our own units down here routing. Another unit over here is about to rout, but then we're also killing this unit right here. This unit of swordsmen broke through there and actually won their little battle. This unit here is about to get taken out, so it's a complete mess right now. Generally speaking though, things on the far left hand flank are looking pretty good. We're starting to wrap up his swordsmen. We have our own Ionian lancers coming in and dealing some devastating rear charges. In fact, let's check the kills real quick. 90 kills already on these lancers, and that's their first infantry charge that they've done. Besides that, they've been killing cavalry, so they're doing very, very well. As things continue though, you can see we're losing more and more men in the center right. All around here we basically have just 2 units, so that's really, really looking rough. So what we're going to start doing is actually forming a new defensive line where we're basically set up like this. The units that are out over here, they're basically all done. They're all on their own now. It's up to them to last as long as possible. You see me giving the order to form a line here, but I will change that shortly to basically be like this. And so we have to do it very quickly. The lancers come in and finish off the naked swordsmen, so that's perfect. Now we're waiting on our general. See, here he's getting an order to come in and form up against the enemy general. I am aware that he is charging in, but I'm trying to get him back in line before they can come in and charge. It's not going too well though, and I will give an attack order. Here it is right there. Here comes the attack order from my Spartans, and I give it an attack order, plus I tell him to go into phalanx. So because of that though, we then have my unit kind of glitch out, where instead of lining up over here, it's going to line up over here and expose its rear to attacks from this unit right here. So that's really dumb, very frustrating, but there's not a lot I can do about it. In the meantime, our cavalry is coming in and rear charging over here, getting some beautiful charges in some of these infantry that we have pinned down. Our thorax swordsmen over there are doing wonders and holding them for quite a long time, so that's going according to plan, at least for our new plan. However, we still do have this single unit back here that we really have to get rid of. It's one of his, which unit is this? A veteran warrior unit, so this is going to last for a very long time. You'll see right here though, these hoplites are getting pushed into the fight. That's because I'm trying to micromanage giving attack orders constantly, pushing, and being very aggressive with my pikemen and hoplites where appropriate. Right here we have another charge coming in with some swordsmen trying to take on my pikemen. I gave them the order to go into their pike formation too early, and because of that, these guys are going to be able to just pull back, wait over there somewhere, just chill out, and then once I turn my pikemen back around, that's when he'll try to charge in. And there's only so much I can do, so I'm going to try and get them back. And I'm basically trying to stop the enemy from charging in and getting into the rear of my general, although this cavalry unit that he has left did get a side charge on my general, although it wasn't excellent. So the majority of our forces are still clumped up over here. Our general's bodyguard is still fighting his general's bodyguard, so whoever kills the other basically guarantees the victory here. Meanwhile, where we used to have our right flank, our final unit is routing. This is our last thorax swordsman unit. He has 4 units coming in over here. He has a unit way off in the distance he'll notice shortly and bring back into the battle. And now this is where we are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units over here, one of which is a cav unit. That won't be too far from routing. It's taken some damage. We have a Thurio Spear unit here that is about to rout. And then we have a Hoplite unit here that's trying to take on these units. We actually managed to rout his elite swordsman somehow. And now it's just up to some spear archer units right here that he has. So that's going to be super nice if we can get them routed, because then we can rotate these 2 units to come up and form a little battle line where these holes are. And in fact, we actually really need to deal with these units. So what we're going to do is come in and try to recharge here, hopefully with the cavalry. And if we can get these guys free, then they could even come in and help support as well. Because if we lose this unit, then our general will be entirely surrounded, which is a massive no-go. Unfortunately, though, we lose this unit down here. So instead of going to help that unit at the top, our cavalry is going to come all the way down here and then try to recharge this unit, because we need to be forming lines right here to stop these units from coming in and recharging my general, and just any of our units, generally speaking. We come in with a beautiful charge on the archer spearmen. They're on the verge of routing, and then boom, off they go off the battlefield. See you later, good night, Sunny Jim. But because we took so long to do it, our general's bodyguard is now getting recharged right here. This is absolutely terrible. We don't want our general getting recharged. This is the literal bane of a Spartan hoplite. It's getting hit from behind. Regardless, though, we're still giving attack orders to keep pushing forward. You can see this unit back here is pushing forward as well, trying to engage this veteran elite swordsman. They will get the engagement going, so that's excellent for us. We do have a hoplite unit back here, but now we've just lost our Thurio swordsman, so now it's coming down really close. We still have our 1 unit of cavalry though, and it's going to get even more charges on the enemy. In fact, let's check the kills. 265 kills. That's a lot of infantry that they've killed now. We get a rout, from some men back here, so that will help us out. We have our own Spartan hoplite here, hoplite unit that's at full strength still, by the way. 200 men. It's only just taken its first casualty to a recharge now. I'm going to give the attack order to face the units that are closest to them that are about to recharge. So they should be able to stand it. You can see that green symbol right there. It means that I've put them into phalanx mode, gives them more defense and morale. Hopefully that'll last for a while. In the meantime, our Ionian Lancers, one day I'll get that, are recharging into these swordsmen over here, and the veteran swordsmen break. They can't handle that recharge whatsoever. They're off the battlefield. Good night, see you later. So now we have to rush, so we have absolutely no time to sit and lollygag. So we're charging in our pikeman over here. He actually sees my pikeman coming over, gives an attack order to his naked swordsman. Unfortunately, my pikemen got engaged before I could tell them to get their pikes down, but now that I have, they're actually pushing the naked swordsman back, at least for some of it, some of the engagement. Definitely not perfect, but it's helping out. Our shock cav is coming in, getting a nice recharge, and these guys are actually running low on morale right now, so hopefully we can get rid of him. Their general's bodyguard is really beat up right now as well. They only have 91 men left, so if we can get that routed, we might be able to turn this around, but he still has more men than us. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 units, plus a general, and then one way off in the distance that is starting to work its way back now. So right now at this point it's still anybody's game, although he still does have the numbers advantage. We're focusing very much on his general. We're going to have our pikemen charge in now that we've dealt with that naked swordsman unit. Our cavalry is coming in and getting involved. We get the recharge with the pikemen. They're out of pike formation, but then I give the attack order to get back into it shortly. I do that quite a lot with my hoplites and pikemen, as I'll give them an attack order, let them get close to the enemy, and then swap back. He's trying to run his general's bodyguard away and rout my cavalry off the battlefield, but it's too late. His own general is now routed off the battlefield. I'm not sure if we killed him or not, but he's at least routed, so that's a very big plus for us. However, our single hoplite unit over here is getting recharged by some naked swordsmen, and this is really bad. This is absolutely not what we want for this hoplite unit. This unit could have been doing a lot more, but it's just stuck getting surrounded by hundreds of Nervii swordsmen, so that's really bad. In the meantime though, our cavalry is recharging once again into some more veteran swordsmen from the Nervii. They have so many of them, they're very well trained, high melee attack and good armor. but they actually shatter off the battlefield as well. So now it's starting to look a little bit more in our favor, but we need our cav to stay in the fight. It's really our only advantage right now. So we're moving forward with our general's bodyguard to try and engage these spearmen. These pikemen should be coming up this way, and I give it a move order, but then I do notice that this unit that is running back here is coming back to the battle, so we do need to be careful of that. Right here we have a massive shadow of some of these very light swordsmen routing. We have another unit over here wavering, about to rout. However, our cavalry is almost routed, our hoplites have almost routed. The cavalry is out of the game now, they can't handle it anymore. This is terrible, we need our hoplites to keep going. Our pikemen are coming in with their rear charge as well. In addition to our general's bodyguard, they get into pike formation, get into phalanx formation over here. Unfortunately, just as we managed to rear charge these units, our hoplite unit over there ends up routing off the battlefield in disgrace. Terrible timing. This now comes down to a 2v2. He has one unit here, which is going to be perfect at rear charging us. And I'm also a little bit worried about this unit. It actually has some okay weapon damage. So if it does get a good rear charge against one of my units here, very good chance that they'll actually get some pretty solid kills. I'm hoping that they'll rout before they do. We get a nice charge here with our general's bodyguard, although he then charges in and manages to kind of blunt my charge a little bit. Our pikemen are poking as hard as they can, as quick as they can. I'm giving constant attack orders from both of my units, but now the enemy skirmishers are coming back. This 2v2 is about to get squashed into a 2v1 with these pikemen getting hammered. There they are, the rear charge is too deadly. I give the attack order way too late for them to turn around. They rout off the battlefield insanely fast. I'm kind of surprised they did already. We haven't lost our general yet, he's still fighting. But now it's coming down to a 2 versus 1, ladies and gentlemen. Our general's bodyguard, the 300 of Sparta, is trying to hold off against the Nervii here. It's not looking very good right now. He's starting to pull back away and not let my hoplites engage. He's running this way and then that. My hoplites are trying to chase them down. I'm giving attack orders. You're seeing them constantly run. Doesn't work out very well, so I'm actually going to go for the weaker unit over here. If I can get them routed off the battlefield, then maybe that will help. Our men are actually out of their hoplite formation right now, which is not ideal. You want them to be in it as much as possible. But then regardless, we rout this unit, and as soon as we rout that unit, the other unit breaks, and our general's bodyguard brings it home for Sparta, ladies and gentlemen. The 2v1 was not enough to take on Sparta's finest. The 300 come in and save the day. So now, let's go to the stat screen and see exactly what happened. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, what a close friggin' battle. Wow. There was a lot that happened there, a lot to process. Despite it being a pretty long battle at just over 20 minutes, it actually felt like it went by really quick. So anyway, I deployed 4,200 men, he deployed 3,700, which is interesting because barbarian factions usually have larger numbers than the more quote-unquote civilized nation. So I'm surprised that he didn't have more men, but it's probably because he brought in more elite contingents. He had a couple of elite swordsmen right here. He brought in a lot of cavalry as well, 4 units, which is quite a lot, all of which were shock-based cavalry, and 2 of them were more elite. So that's where he got more kills, 104 kills there, 86 kills there. He had a really nice army, and it was pretty decent at countering Sparta. However, some of these units that didn't get as many kills, such as this 77 one or the 84 one, they still did pretty good, but that's because they mainly were charged in the front by my pikemen. However, despite getting the frontal engagements with some of my pikemen, they did terrible. And to be honest, it's largely due to just missed micromanagement on my part. 1, 2, 3 units of my 4 pikemen, the highest of which had 11 kills. Another had 9, so that's a total of 20 kills for 3 pikemen units. That's beyond horrendous. That's absolutely abysmal. That literally could not happen, but it did happen somehow. I'm not sure where I went wrong with it. Maybe I just messed up my micro, and I know I let one of my units get obliterated by skirmishers. That's why his archers have so many kills. But man, just like that's almost embarrassing having my pikemen do so badly there. It's really, really bad. I think after doing a few online battles recently, where I've used pikes, I think I'm just going to try and avoid them for online battles, to be honest, because I've really struggled to use them. You need a lot of micromanagement for it, and they just can get annihilated even by very cheap archers like these guys. They're good archers, but they're still pretty cheap. So him using these archers to annihilate them is really such a good payoff. My hoplites did better, 54 kills for one. Still not good enough, but it's okay. 83 kills for the other one. That's still a little bit better. My Palatus, 31 kills, 61. Not very good. I was hoping for more. But this one did get annihilated by his cavalry, so it's fair enough. You could tell that I didn't really do too well with my army in general. I really shouldn't have had this victory, to be honest. He did end up surrounding and almost killing my general, but the general's bodyguard of Sparta is just absolutely massively powerful and probably a little bit OP, to be honest. But I guess it's kind of the thing about Sparta. They have access to only one general, and of course it is going to be representative of like the myth of the Spartan epic warrior being so super badass, and so that's why he has 278 kills. He's one of our highest killing units. Our general. It's not something you can say a lot in online battles. Our Ionian Lancers came in at 384 kills. That's massive. They came in absolutely pivotal throughout the battle. Without them, we definitely wouldn't have done as well. And our other cav units, 187, 55 kills. They both did great. Very happy with those. Our Skiritai swordsmen did it okay, but not really. I mean, they're pretty cheap. But I was still hoping they would do better. But to be honest, I think my biggest failing here... I mean, if I really wanted to be doing this the absolute best way possible, I would have brought less pikes, more hoplites, and I would have brought less swordsmen, but more cavalry. Because my swordsman going up a nation that specializes in swordsmen, such as the Nervii, it's just not a good idea. You can't out-specialize specialists, you know what I mean? Unless your guys are even more specialists. But the Spartan units are not known for their swords. Even our 4x swordsmen didn't do all that well. Oh, actually, no, they did okay. 137 kills for one, 182 for another. So maybe I could have tried to get in more Spartan 4x swords, but even then, maybe what I should have done is just bring in more hoplites, be more disciplined with my formation, and focus more so on the cavalry. However, going into this battle, that was one of my thoughts though, is that usually I bring in a lot of cav. I'm really reliant on my cavalry. I love commanders in real history like Khalid ibn al-Walid and Hannibal, commanders like them who use cavalry a lot in their battles. I find their tactics very logical, and it just makes sense, and it fits this setting perfectly. So I often bring in at least 4 cav for almost any army I use, often 5 or more sometimes. So this was pretty light on the cavalry for me, so if I really wanted to min-max here, I would have brought more cav and more units that would be better at holding and surviving against archer fire, because that's the main difference I found between hoplites and pikemen. Hoplites will live for a while, whereas pikes will die super easy to any kind of skirmisher fire at all. Before we wrap things up though, we do have the Furio spearmen coming at 217 kills and 77. That's pretty fantastic for both of them, to be honest. Very impressed with that. And that's going up against cavalry for most of those units, so that's very impressive. Not bad whatsoever. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap things up again, please do feel free to submit your own battle replays. The only thing I suggest, request, is that you make them of the Divided Impera overhaul mod. I'm not interested in Rome 2 vanilla battles, at least not at this time, maybe in the future. But right now, I'm all about DEI modded battles. Maybe other mods in the future as well, but right now, it's just DEI. So please send in your own DEI battle replays. I'll be more than happy to post them, give some commentary, and give my thoughts overall. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.